Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're well. I am well myself. My name is Wanyiha Jean Dutz and I welcome you into this space. I'm very blessed to have you and I hope you're gleaning something from this channel. It is a pleasure for me to do this, okay? And today I want to talk about my child, as you have seen. And I am majorly going to talk about this one child because he's the one I think we are alike. But this also involves all of my children and how I had to make a turnaround because at some point God woke me up. Okay, so last video I did was about my mom and the struggles we had together. And for me, it has been so beneficial to learn and understand what struggles she had as a mom and what struggles she had as a woman, as a child, what she had to go through. And that led to me understanding, okay? And even though I say this, I have seen it is a long process, okay? So sometimes even now we'll have a conversation and have problems, okay? Now, while I was processing this thing with my mother, I was also processing with my children, okay? But with this particular one, I want to highlight because I call this child a chosen one, but he's also the one who is most, like me in behavior. So in some circles we say he's my karma, okay? He's the one who made me understood what kind of a child I was that used to irritate my mom so much, okay? So if my mom was in admiration of her children, it would be one more than the other, okay? Because this other one was very structured, perhaps very hardworking, very complimentary to her ever since she was a child, okay? So my sister would be, trying to do the right things. She was also a very active person, so very clean also. So she was always doing things that, a woman does, okay, or a young girl is expected to do in their home, okay. And now that would overshadow me in some way in that the things that interested me weren't for the good of the whole family, okay? So I would be into reading, I would hide with a book, I would be into silence, right? I didn't like it when everybody was talking, even though I am a talker, okay? And whenever I tried to just air an opinion, it didn't go down so well with other people. So it wasn't, the common opinion, okay? And so for me, I think how I found favor and found myself is in all these books I was reading. And also my friends were funky, even though I was the least among them, okay? When you have low self-esteem, there are some things that can carry you, but and also there are friends you will attract, but you will always be the least among them, okay? Mostly because when you talk, it sets everybody on edge, okay? And also sometimes they're just things, maybe you're the poorest, maybe they're just some things that, sets you at odds with other people. But your tribe is your tribe. Even at that time, you'll have a tribe, okay? Some of these tribes, sometimes you'll have to shed, along the way as God heals you. Now, you may not know it, but even the people that you grow up with, sometimes even your larger circle of friends, and the people who you attract may have issues, same as you. Maybe they just don't, they're not so as prevalent. You're the one who is, what is the word? You're the one who is showing it more. I'm sure there's a better word for it, okay? So you're you're like, the one who is just manifesting the worst behavior among all of this. So all of these have that in common, but you're the one who manifests it, but not in a way that is admirable. Other people you may find could have a certain bad behavior, perhaps you're a group of these clean, girls who talk about the good things to be, the Christian way to be. But there's this one among you who is always talking about boys, sex, and all these things. And you all laugh about it. You enjoy her courage, okay? So this one is never among the least because whatever she carries with confidence. But you, because of your low self-esteem, the way you carry yourself, perhaps you're behind in so many things, perhaps it's the fashion sense, you're just not bringing your whole personality to the front, and so there's nothing about you that can be admired, perhaps just little things, right? Yeah, so even what you think, what could be considered in some circles that is nice, like people used to notice that I'm a light skin, yeah. But in school, I would be called a yellow, okay, or lion because of my top heavy body, okay. So that now kind of informs you of how you're not, so special, because there's nothing special about being called yellow. In some circles, yellow is a coward, or being called, lion as a top heavy person, okay? Now I talk about these things because I'm free, I'm set free, I've found, so much freedom. I'm awake. I know who I am. I love who I am. I know why God created me the way he did. And I think it's a compliment that he created me the same way as he did my grandma, okay? Who was such a beauty, okay? And just growing up next to her and seeing her and understanding her, it made me just, be more accepting, okay? So whenever, even now, because this thing will happen when you come to this other side of life, especially if you come abroad, which is also something that happened to my child, you get to accept yourself. You see other people who are like you and they're carrying it well, and also just the mere miracle that God has created a way, especially if you've had it hard crossing over, and then God makes a way for you among everybody else. You get the coveted thing that people want. You realize that God, loves you, especially, that it feels like love before you know that it's a mission, okay? And so coming into my own, and of course along the years, learning how to dress my body, accepting myself, I would find it hard accepting, or allowing somebody in my circles who would criticize me or criticize somebody like my child, Tamwa, okay? So now on to Tamwa. So ever since, he was small, my child was born big, okay? And I would find it so easy to raise him. So there was no issue there. He ate well. He did his milestones ahead of time. So admirable, okay? So I don't quite remember when I would see things looking unlike Tamwa, okay? But I noticed because I was a Sunday school teacher and he was attending my class, I would notice that when the Sunday school class is called ahead to sing or perform, he would want to do that. Yeah, he would be so excited, and then he would go ready to perform. And then as the song starts, it seems like he's affected in some ways, like he's been struck by, stage fright all of a sudden, and then he performs badly, or what he considers badly, just not his standard. And I would see him just shrink back, feel so bad. And then as they walk out of the church, I notice this guy is really down on himself, okay? Now at home, he used to be the guy when they come back from playing outside, he would just, wash his hands, and go get some bread for himself or some snack, yeah, whatever is available, and just eat. He doesn't have to ask. He had that confidence, okay? At school, the school that he started at, whenever they were performing like that, he would perform excellently, okay? So now that I know now, not then, now that I know what I know, I would understand that some places that are spiritual usually affect my son the same way that they would affect me, okay? So I knew this guy to be confident, and for most part, yeah, so I wouldn't, worry about these times that he's not confident, but I made a note, okay? So later, as he's approaching his teenage, around class 4, they transferred school, yeah, and he came from a very loving teacher to men who were just very, very cruel to him, yeah. I couldn't stand it, okay? So he comes into this private school. We're expecting them to be, good at this, okay? So he ended up being beaten so much so that I have to go to the school. And both he and I, because I come and cause havoc, ended up, being at loggerheads at school. And all these teachers seemed to have this in common, where they would, talk about some students. And by this time, let me tell you, what used to be said against me, I came to realize it was all spiritual. I was a good mom. I knew how to take care of my children. I knew how, like they looked healthy, they looked nice, okay? I was very keen and sensitive to their needs, okay? So this child comes into class 4, meets a new teacher. This teacher is from up country, I think. Very, very brusque, very rough on the edges. The kind of people who didn't grow up with privilege, okay? Now looking at my son, he thinks my son is privileged, he's a snob, he's very disorganized. Some changes that were happening, including him coming into a new school, and just not being, just not understanding how things are flowing, because he's not come from this, with this class from class 3. He just started here in class 4. Would set the teacher on edge. And whenever he looks at him, he's like, oh, wewe mtoto wa blue band. Yeah, like you're just fed with all this good thing. You're just fat and, light skin and, just empty-headed, okay? Now, if you know something about my kids, they're not empty-headed, okay? So that would just set me on edge. Now, throw back a little. My mom ever had to come to school when I was being bullied, okay? So we are that kind of, not phoning, like we will come to the rescue, even if at home we are not as supportive and as, nurturing, okay? So not as nurturing, but meeting the needs, okay? So yeah, I went to the school and, I would really have problems with some of the teachers. I threatened some, I was ready to fight some, okay? And now, of course, that would fetch more, abuse, I would say abuse towards my child, okay? And now these teachers, it's like they had come from, it's like teachers who didn't quite understand how to nurture children, how to give as much love, because they're like, we've had it worse and we don't expect that you should have it easy. So they don't give easy. They do corporal punishments, which is something, even having gone through the old system, I could not stand, okay? So I couldn't take that, yeah? And so I come and begin to speak. I'm in the school often. And then later I'm thinking this guy might benefit more by being in school, because he would have homework up to like midnight, yeah? So I decided let him board in class 7, yeah? And that would just set him, in a bad place. He's attacked a lot of times, even though along the way he would find like amazing teachers, yeah? So he had these episodes where he would be accused wrongly of something, and then I'm getting all these hospital bills that he's incurred. They're saying he has ulcers. They didn't call me. So just a bad school system that doesn't really consider the children, especially because some of the parents we have in our society lately or around then had this thing of just, befriending the teachers like we do with politicians in our, country, okay? So just trying to be loved and to have favor for their children, okay? So if you are at loggerheads with teachers who could abuse your children, you don't get as much favor. The teachers have, the say, okay? Yeah, so I saw in that year my child was really suffering. So I took him out of boarding school. So another problem, okay? Then as he's going to class 8, he started class 8 and then with, around July, we left, okay? We left the country. Now, going into Canada, he had the same issues as me, okay? So a bit of bullying, and of course, home and away, okay? So in school, some kids would say some things, but eventually for everybody, especially a chosen one, you get friends who are attracted to you. When they see you being attacked, they may not defend you, but they will be your friends, okay? So you look like these weird pairs, okay? Or weird groups, not nerdy, they are like misfits, yeah, but they are tight in that they understand each other spiritually, okay? One time I would actually go to their school in Canada for like a parents' night, and I came across this teacher who told me, your child is just so spiritually blessed and sharp. I've actually been wanting to meet his parent so that I discuss such things with you, because I feel like I'm like that as well. I am very learned. I've done my master's in education. I never feel like I fit in, and I see the same sharpness in him and all of that, okay? So somebody who was just affirming me in the things that I saw in Tamwa, okay? So all this time, yeah, even before we come to Canada, I had seen my son now beginning to ask, should I eat a mandazi? Should I get a snack out of the box? And I'm like, who is this? Who are you? And so I'd be affirming him and saying things like, you know whose child you are? You know whose house this is? Get your mandazi, okay? And that would, make my house help really find it funny, okay? So I know I had that side in me to affirm. But who was I also? A very, very, angry woman, okay? So when I'm angry, everybody gets it. My house help, the children, everybody gets it, okay? And, so that was really upsetting to the household, okay? So it's very inspiring in confidence, but whenever it was a problem I could pinpoint, I would speak against it or for it, okay? So fast forward, we go into Orlando, and he is balanced, okay? He's finding himself, he has some friends, and at this point I'm noticing like he has a lot of girlfriends. Yeah, I don't know what would be attracting them to him. Maybe it's how cute he was, because there were episodes where he would because he was getting, I think it is this food issue and being told that he loves eating and all of that. He was getting very conscious of his body, very conscious of weight issues. He started now being more interested in cooking, being very specific in what will make you, fat and all that. So he would have these friends who are misfits too. So some chubby, some are like this and like that. And, he would say inappropriate things that we don't say in this society, like, maybe you should come to the gym with us, you're a bit fat, or something like that, yeah? So he would end up now being, out of the loop. Some people would be really sensitive, especially you don't say such thing to a girl who likes you, okay? And then fast forward, we come here, and of course they came here before us. And the school that he went, he met with these fabulous girls, okay? I say fabulous because these are people who, knew themselves, could express. Now, one thing about coming abroad is that people find terminology to express their feelings, okay? And that is something that now helps in awakening you. So people, how a misfit you are, and whatever group of misfits you are, there's a way you express who you are. And that acceptance of self that makes somebody just come up, okay? So if he's finding acceptance and understanding in these places, with these people, with these girls who likes him and are always around him, what happens? He is able to stand on his own, and against anything I'm bringing against him, especially with my old traditional societal, all these issues and all these ways we try to narrow somebody down or to, fit you in a certain box, because that is the old method. That is what I've learned. That is what I've grown, knowing. And so as I come to my home, I'm trying to run it just like what I saw before. So I'm like, I used to take this from my mother, surely you can take it from me. So when I call you, you come, okay? When I say do this, you do, okay? So suddenly these guys are finding their voice, and they're saying no to things, and it's driving me crazy, okay? So I'm the crazy woman who is always yelling at them, and, I'm getting all this lashback, okay? So now this is affecting all of them, but thank God. And let me tell you guys, whenever you think that you should do marriage perhaps alone, let me tell you, there's something that the other parent will do, something that he will bring into the equation that just brings a good balance, okay? So alone, with everything that you have to handle, you really will not understand or give a chance to your children. Well, they will grow up. Some will even start supporting you. Some will even feel like they should protect you. Some, especially sons, will feel like they should be, husbandly to you, protect you against other men, against all these things. And yet you're still the mom. You still want to have a say. So it's very confusing place, very confusing home and away. These are the children you see suffering, trying to just understand, who am I, where am I standing, okay? But now, through the mercies of God, at the time these guys are coming into their own, now their dad is there, okay? Now, what is special about this? This dad has been alone, missing his children for all these years, yeah? So he's very, very protective, even against me, okay? But at the same time, he wants to do the right thing, with me, because now he feels like he has to protect me, keep me around, because he knows if I'm a bit cuckoo, if I'm angry, I'm going to run. you know, especially with the time I'm getting, you know, coming into money and all of that, I'm not settled, okay? And then he's like, he's given this mantle to just settle us, yeah? Just ground us, just be, you know, very like a cover, okay? So my husband doesn't teach, okay? Neither does he have the terminology to address all of us. What he's doing is just standing, okay? So he's standing, he's being very kind. Whatever, like I said in the other video, whatever is not done, he will do. When I call in these guys or complaining, oh, these guys are not doing this, or they're just so, you know, disrespectful, he'll be like, no worries, it's not their house. But you know what, dudes, if we keep our house clean, tidy, the way you like, they will keep their house very tidy, okay? So this is not their house, so they don't care. They're wondering, why are you sending us? Why are you pushing us? You know, why are you asking anything of us? It's not our house. You know, it's your house to keep the way you want. So you can't bring your standards to us, okay? Now, that is very controversial to most people. People feel like you have to train your child, and it's even biblical, train your child in the way he should go, and when he's older, they will not depart from it. Now, does that say that make your child do? No, because let me tell you, and you of course know, at home, the duties of a home, the chores of a home, they're the easiest thing to do. It's not something you have to train somebody daily. But if you keep your house well, if you keep your house clean, if you do the things you're telling other people to do, they will emulate. And also something else, they will become kind, okay? Now, I would see Mike, who felt like he has no choice as the firstborn. He would be doing all these things, yeah? He would be trying until I stopped him and I'm like, no, you don't have to do this, okay? Tamwa, miss me with that. He's not doing the things that the dad is doing outside. He's not doing the things inside. He's become this person like, you know, now he has this, I think, and it's coming from his friends. Yeah, so I'm pointing that out. And since you met these people, you become this, you become that. You're so unpleasant. And sometimes I would even throw, you know, the way African moms throw things. Nakuita uski, you know, I'm calling you, you're not listening, you're not responding. Who do you think you are? If you don't think you should be listening, if you don't think we are your parents, yeah, go run with your friends or whatever. Just very unpleasant. And of course, at that point, as an afflicted mom who has not even come into healing or fully waking up, I realized that I'm becoming very toxic, okay? So toxic, becoming you know, raising you know, family in this toxicity, okay? And then I think because of, oh my god, because of the nurturing that I'm getting, okay? So one thing I realized, and it was a process as time is coming, you know, is going, as I am coming into my own, also getting some money, because money is a solution to many things, okay? As I'm getting the things I desire, I'm making things happen on my own. Now even giving myself permission to have the house cleaned professionally every now and then when I feel like it's too much. Usually I like doing things myself, okay? I like it when I'm in touch, yeah, I can do these things. But now perhaps the work is too much. I will get some help and pay for it. I find that, you know, things are easing up, okay? And also I am so aware, as I've always been aware, due to low self-esteem, that I am not all of that as a parent, as a wife, and all of that, yeah? So I'm trying to calm down. As I see this, I'm also being nurtured, okay? By God and also by my husband, okay? So he's being very nurturing. He's, you know, actually explaining why a teenager would feel the things that he's feeling, okay? And I realized that because Tamwa doesn't quite fit in, doesn't do the things the brothers do and all of that, and also something that used to irritate him is me saying that I am like him. Something that used to irritate my mom also is me saying that she's like me, okay? So like I'm in the middle of all this, and because my husband had gone ahead of me, he's talking to me about these things, telling me how, you know, we are the middle, okay? We are the middle generation that has to take care of our parents who feel like they've sacrificed so much because they had to educate us, you know, actually just put money in, because the previous generation, the parents of our parents, didn't actually have to do that much, okay, except some some families. Others, it was just education in the home, okay, so no formal education. Now our parents, now in our generations, are the ones who had to do all these, paying fees, hustling and all of that, yeah. And now they're like, okay, now since we've done this for you, we have to take care of us, okay. You're having to take care of them, and you know nothing about, that kind of care. And, perhaps it's what you've seen, or what you've had to do with your grandparents. You had to take care of your grandparents, perhaps, because your parents were hustling, okay? And now these parents are demanding of everything you get, and you don't even know how to take care of them and run your family and build for your family. And especially if the money is not much, oh my God, you will be suffering, okay? You feel pulled in all the directions, okay? So mercifully, I think mercifully, I would say that the kids realize very fast from their friends that, yeah, you have to do some jobs. You can't ask your parents for everything that you need. So do you want a job? I know somewhere you can get a job, okay? So they help each other. They connect together like that. But now I'm learning from this man, we cannot be the generation that asks money from our children, not like our parents do, to us. So if they're making money, even if they're spending that time away, and they come and you're like, you've not helped in the house and all of that, where is that money you are working for? Oh, we don't have this, you have to help. It cannot be that way, okay? So we have to support our children and support our parents, and now have to support ourselves and heal ourselves. So very important. And, I wish everybody would have that kind of support system at home, okay? So now I'm opening my eyes and learning, okay? And now, because I see this child, I would say, you're like me. You're like me, Tawa. I see the rudeness. I see the lack of, not wanting to participate, not doing things correctly, at home. If he opens a bag in the fridge, it is left open. And I'm like, my God, I'm going to lose it. And if I say, Tawa, you are here, you're the one who opened this bag, he will gaslight me, okay? So very, very trained in this thing. So he's like, no, I didn't do that. I know I saw you do that, okay? And now when you're dropping him somewhere, he will leave you with like 5 minutes. And these roads are very slow. So you're like, come on. You have to be considerate of other people. And then I remember I was never considerate, okay, of other people. I would hear my sister complaining about how I left things, how I do things, you're not, because my sister is very clean, very neat. Now I'm learning, I've been learning in my house. Now I want to set standards in my house. This child is challenging everything that I do, okay? So my karma, okay? If he uses a cup, it will be left there, or in his room, okay? Very common with teenagers, but now I notice with him, it's like extra. He doesn't care. He walks here tall and beautiful and light. He's growing his hair, cares about his hair, okay? So he's calling me out even on the things that I don't do, okay? So if I have dandruff, I'm scratching, which is actually one of the way I was afflicted, yeah? Yeah, but let's not go into that. There's a time I had dandruff. It's like, Mom, were you not taking care of your scalp? Hey, we now had to start learning from Tamwa, okay? And even the things that, were going around in the house, like, Tamwa, why are you not attending to this? Why are you not like this? And you would be like, understanding that, he's a child in this home. He is going through his process of learning. And even though we want him to be a certain way, we have to learn. It's a process, and he will do it, yeah, once we do it. So the more cleaner and perfect and set things are, and sometimes even employing that professional help, when they come into the house, it's professionally cleaned. Of course, they will notice it more than how I clean, okay? So we see them now beginning to pay attention, and the mom also is relaxing, okay? So if I've come from my errands, and also like that weekend where the house is cleaned on a Saturday, and I get to doze on the seat, I wake up so nice and, a good mood. I'm like, hey guys, what do you want to eat? I throw, I do a throwdown, okay? So just, and also now being more attentive to everyone's needs and able to now to separate each person with their own needs and not grouping them together. And let me tell you, this grouping I had done ever since I was denied the first visa. I'm telling you, I used to handle my kids like one thing, okay? One unit. You do this, you do this, you do this. I don't care about feelings. You're one chunk of a person, okay? Work in unison. You know the way when you're guiding like kindergarten kids, yeah, you put them together or you leash them. That's what they do here. You leash them so they work as a group, yeah. You want sheep, you don't want goats, okay? So you know how sheep will do the same thing. I want you guys to do the same thing. But now I start to realize the differences, and as I'm pointing out, Tamwa, you're like this and like that, you're like me, I understand this. I begin, actually, it wasn't just me. It was also the baby who likes Tamwa so much. They share a room. They have so much in confidence, they have so much in what? They're so much alike. They're going through the same thing, coming into their teenage, because they're like 3 years apart, yeah? And now Tosh, because he's allowed to talk, he's very secure in his love. He's not getting as much, backlash or attacks as Tamwa. He would come and tell me, Mom, you don't remember as a teenager how you used to feel, you don't remember going through these things. How come you don't understand Tamwa? Okay, so that's now having to reckon with that, having to see feedback from my kids. I'm like, wow, I have to sit and listen. I can't just, fight these people, can't fight back, and also want to belong, okay? This is my family. I don't want everybody to feel like, they have to fight, me, I'm the odd one out as it is. I'm the girl, and I'm also the one who is fighting for recognition, fighting, whatever. It's like, I don't understand. And even when I talk to my husband, he's like, I understand what the guys are going through. I understand this. I will help where I can. And I'm like, okay, so I'm the one who doesn't understand, so what is happening here, okay? So I had to do a lot of learning, and I began being so grateful for whatever, like whenever Tamwa would say something, it would be so educative, okay? So this child was actually sent to educate us, yeah? And so it was going on like that, and I'm beginning to appreciate, and of course we see whatever he's doing is working for him. He had major acne. He worked on that acne, and it went away. The baby had acne, he couldn't work on it, okay? So we are seeing the things that Tamwa is doing. Tamwa will make steps in this house to about 10,000 because he's going to get water to drink, very caring of self, very, And I remember my mom saying, I'm that, proud as well, very wanting to just, have my way, do my own things. That is how she would see me. I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel as, peacocky, So we see this guy growing beautiful hair, and now sometimes he would start doing things like braiding his hair. I'm okay with dreads, I'm okay with whatever you can do to your hair, but braids, dude, what is going on? We have to talk about this. And sometimes I remember one time I jumped on him like, why are you doing these things? Because I'm thinking all this is attached to me. Why are you becoming like this? It is humiliating. Like whoever sees you as my child out there, they will think, oh, whose child is this? Okay. Looking at the father, he doesn't care. He's studying his child, wanting to understand. He has nothing against this child. And what he does, it is not a reflection of him. He's an individual, okay? And so he should be respected as such. Is he more prouder of the more manly kids? No. Everybody is his child. They are beautiful. They are, his creation. Actually, at that point, why don't we read the Bible? So I'm on Psalms 127. And here, I like to think that it's David who says this. Unless the Lord builds a house, the work of the builders is wasted. Unless the Lord protects a city, guarding it with sentries will do no good. It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food to eat, for God gives rest to his loved ones. Children are a gift from the Lord. They are reward from him. Children born to a young man are like arrows in a warrior's hands. How joyful is the man whose quiver is full of them. He will not be put to shame when he confronts his accusers at the city get. Okay, so what this tells me is that you're working so hard to have things look a certain way, to earn all this money, and your children are not happy. They don't recognize the effort. They're not happy with you. They don't even like you as a person, let alone a parent, you know. And once they are once they are awake, you know, they cannot stand your behaviors. You are a narcissist. Newsflash, because you're carrying all this old spirit, all these old ways of doing things. You did not change, you did not try, you know, and you're bringing that to this now generation. So we had to change, okay? And one of the ways we were changing, I was learning. I was really open to learning. And I think that is what saved me, yeah? Learning from my husband, learning even from the brothers. And the one thing that I see a lot of firstborns going through, especially in our generations, in our families, was that the firstborns felt like they had to carry the parents' you know, burden in disciplining the kids. When I approached Mike with such things, why don't you talk to your brother? He would be like, what? If your children can, if you have a problem handling your children, don't bring it to me. They are not my children, okay? That's my brother, okay? And now I would see now what Mike would do is, you know, like take them to the gym, the things that he likes, he would, you know, involve them. Tamwa is like, mom doesn't want to go to the gym. If we all go to the gym, we are doing the same things, Tamwa and I, okay? So it's so undeniable that this boy is like me. And now, with everybody being who they are, Mike is not carrying any prisoners. The baby is like him, very active, wants to go to the gym, build his body, do all these things. They would go together and they'd have a great adventure doing all these things together, okay? Tamwa can't do with mom things because he's better than mom in so many ways, in taking care of himself, in drinking his water, in being alone, in studying, you know. If you sit with him, he knows every topic that you want to talk about. Talk about ancient, you know, Africa. Talk about, you know, ancient Egypt, all these things. Talk about what he's doing in his, you know, industry. He knows every topic, okay? What does mom know? Nothing, you know. Mom just sits there criticizing. We can't listen to her, and I had to see it through their eyes, and I had to learn so fast, fam. And that is when he's in high school. He comes into college. You're expecting this guy will choose, you know, something that is more professional, okay? No, this guy wants to go into the arts. Oh my God, oh my God, okay? And the thing that he wants to do also is take a gap year, because we are so against what he wants to do as a profession. We are like, you can't do this, okay? Me, you cannot take a year, okay? And now I begin to give out my law, okay? Law is your folklore. And I'm like, you guys, listen. Because the dad was allowing it, I was like, I cannot allow this. Tamwa says, I'll take a gap year, work and pay for my tuition because you guys don't want me to do this. And I'm like, okay, we are actually going to agree that you do this as long as you go to college immediately. And he's like, are you going to pay? Because what the art school is so expensive, okay? So don't lie to me that you're going to pay. And one thing that you are doing that I saw in my family is talking about not having money, okay? So this boy has been studying us. He knows he has no choice but to go. I mean, he has to go to college. That's a given in this family, okay? So he's chosen his college, chosen what he wants to do, and he knows we don't have money. So he's like, I'm taking a gap year. The dad is like, okay, fine, I get that, okay? He's working with kids who do that all the time. Me, I'm like, listen, everybody sit down and listen. I did this same thing, you know? I forfeited going to college, that's the word, okay? So I see this thing repeating. And the reason why I did that is because I would hear my mom talk about not having money the whole time, okay? And now let me tell you sometimes why I have to break some chains. You see, even now when I was going to high school, yeah, my mom would be helped by the sisters, okay? My mom paid back. They are good with the sisters. Me, I still carry the embarrassment, okay? So up to date, I'm so embarrassed that had to happen. So you guys, when you're approaching your siblings and you're like, oh, you're telling your kids your uncle should help you, you train them that. They think that is what should happen then. In the future, I'm coming from your future to tell you it's so embarrassing to the child. They will always feel they owe this aunt you know, or this uncle, they will always feel like, for us, we were so poor, we had to be helped by these other people. Let me tell you, you better stay pure. You better stay poor, but you're loving your children and you're affirming them and they see you trying, okay? This thing of thinking, okay, my sibling is doing so much better, I will send my children to him. It's not it's not you who will be embarrassed, it's your children, okay? So I'm going to continue on the next one so that this one is not too long, and I'm going to just tell you the last bit of it and how we were able to heal from all this, okay? Ciao.